All right, so we have come to our assessment for Unit 5, Topic 2, and this is a DBQ. That means document-based questioning, and they're going to be questions based on some sources that you are going to have to answer. All right, so right here where it says name, you're obviously going to type your name. Just in case your email address doesn't come attached to it, we will know who submitted the form. And then let's look at the very first little historic background. It says between 1861 and 1940, almost 30 million people came from Europe to the United States. This increase in immigration to the United States had many effects. Okay, so we're seeing an increase. We have a time period from 1861 to 1914. That is about 55 years or so. And we're going to look at some of the effects that this large immigration has affected the Americas. So it says the new immigrants. The opening of Ellis Island reminds us all that America is a land of immigrants. Over 5 million immigrants have poured into the country in the last 12 years. In the past, most immigrants came from Northern and Western European countries. These included England, Ireland, Germany, and the Nordic countries. Today, the trend seems to be changing. These days, an increasing of number of immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe. More and more people are coming from countries such as Italy, Russia, and Austria-Hungary. Experts believe that this trend will continue because of the poor conditions in many European countries. For example, in Italy, there is very little work to be found. Many Russian Jews have come to America to escape religious persecution. The bar graph shows how the number of immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe has increased in the recent years. All right, so if I look at the bar graph here, I have three time periods 1870, 1880, and 1890. And I have two colors that represent two different groups of people. The light gray represents people from Southern and Eastern Europe, and then the darker color represents Northern and Western Europe. So I have my numbers along the left hand side here, and I can see in 1870, I have about 300,000 immigrants coming into the United States, and almost all of them were from Northern and Western Europe, with just a little portion from Southern and Eastern. In 1880, I now have around 400,000 immigrants. Same thing, majority coming from Northern and Western Europe. Now, in 1890, my amount stays almost about the same, except I have a large increase in the people from Southern and Eastern Europe and a decrease in the amount of immigrants from Northern and Western Europe. All right, source two, contributions of the Irish. It says Irish Americans made many important contributions to the New York. Irish workers helped build the Erie Canal and railroads that made New York economically successful. Irish Americans built St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. Irish American politicians like Robert F. Wagner, Robert F. Kennedy, and Daniel P. Moynihan worked to improve the lives of all New Yorkers. Irish folk music and theater enriched New York's entertainment scene. Some Irish New Yorkers, like James Cagney, became famous movie stars. All right, they even give us the holiday that we celebrate, St. Patrick's Day. It says it's honored as the St. Patrick is honored as the saint who brought Christianity to Ireland. They celebrate March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, with a parade. In New York, it is a time when bands play and politicians march up Fifth Avenue. Students from all over New York head to Manhattan to take part in the parade. All right, source three, many homeless child laborers sleep in alleys and doorways. Very sad. These children were put to work very young and they were homeless and they slept in doorways. All right, source four, it says the late 1800s saw even more spectacular advances like Alexander Graham Bell's telephone, a new technology that shaped people's lives. All right, so we have a few questions here. It says using source one, which statements are true? Pick two correct answers. So you're going to be choosing two of these four options using source one. All right, so make sure that you pick the two correct options. The next question says immigrants have made many contributions to America using source two. In what two ways have the Irish immigrants made a difference? You're going to click two ways that Irish immigrants have made a difference here in America. Go back to source two so that you can be sure to pick the correct ones. Often working conditions for immigrant children were horrible. Using source 3, which two statements best describe the hardships that the children faced? Once again, you're going to be picking two correct answers. All right, it says using source 4, which statement best describes how this inventor changed life in the United States? All right, what did Alexander Graham Bell create and how did it affect America? Go back to source 4. All right, and then the last question says using all of the sources. Which statement best explains? That means there could be more than one right answer. We want the best that explains how the arrival of immigrants has changed life in the United States during the 1800s. All right, so you're going to pick the option that best explains how immigrants have affected the United States as a whole. All right, so be sure to answer the questions, submit it when you are done, and I have enjoyed this unit with you.